Okay, hello everyone. Um, so basically I'm gonna be streaming today, basically because we have some large storms that could potentially happen. So basically we're looking at Wednesday, March 4th and 5th. Well, the 5th is obviously not Wednesday, but you know what I mean. So um basically we're just gonna be kind of discussing the I can't speak discussing these storms basically because they're pretty they could be pretty intense, they could be pretty dangerous, so I just want you guys to be informed about this. And also I've not gone live in like forever because well I haven't really been able to um because I just finally got a laptop, so I can actually upload videos. So yeah. So basically here, this is an outlook for um Wednesday, March 4th here. As you can see here, we already have a slight risk in place. But honestly, if I'm being honest, this may get upgraded to an enhanced risk sometime in the near future because if I am being honest, I'm looking at the storm and it is looking pretty intense. I don't want to like scare anybody because um because it's not good to scare people, but if you live in this area, just be alert because this could be a pretty big event. And we also have to talk about like we're just also going to talk about a little bit about the heat, the spring like heat. I mean, like where I live on the West Coast, um I mean, it's in the mid 60s, which is way above average. I mean, it's getting pretty warm, like 50 degrees, I would say, is about average this time of year. Like, it is getting pretty warm. It's not going to last too long, but we'll get into that later in the stream. But as you can see, the slight risk here, this includes Arkansas. It just barely doesn't include the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You can see here that Baton Rouge, I believe, is in here or just outside of it. Shreveport, Louisiana, you are inside of here. Jackson, Mississippi, you are in here. And then Memphis, Tennessee, you also are in here. But I think the real, like, hotspot for this here, I think is going to be on the western side of the slight risk here, where my cursor is, because that's where the storms are going to be probably, like, strongest here. I think they're going to be, like, more, just, like, it's gonna like there is a lot of stable like there's a very stable environment and they have lots of cape, they have high dew points, they have high temperatures, so we could really see these storms getting intense here um on the western side. Also, my apologies, I have a cold, so like, or I have allergies, so I can't really like go long without my nose getting pretty sniffly, so sorry about that. But um okay. So honestly, I think this could definitely get upgraded to an enhanced risk. But when do I think that could happen? Well, I think that could probably happen um potentially tomorrow, but it depends. It depends cuz like the new model it does look it is like showing that this could be a pretty big storm, and I do think it could get upgraded to an enhanced risk tomorrow, but I think it's kind of 50-50. It depends on what the models show tomorrow. If they show it getting a little bit worse or if they show it about the same as I showed it this run, I think it'll get an enhanced risk. But if it shows it kind of being a little bit like less less intense, I definitely don't think we'll get an enhanced risk tomorrow, but it's kind of 50-50 tomorrow. It depends on what the models show. But obviously it can also get downgraded to a slight risk, so we'll have to watch this in the future. But we also do have to talk about the 5th. Now, I know obviously there isn't anything expected for the 5th, but I honestly do think they will put out something in the next few days, like the next 2 or 3, because it does look also pretty intense. That was actually the day I was originally watching because the 4th didn't seem that bad, but now it's kind of showing severe weather on the 4th and the 5th. But sadly, I can't figure out how to work my Epic Pen. I will get that working on the stream soon. But probably I think they would put out a slight risk probably tomorrow or the day after that. Probably Thursday or Friday they'll put out a a slight risk. But as you can see here, like sorry, what I want to say. But also I completely got my dates mixed up. Day 7, the one that had the slight risk that we were just talking about, that is Tuesday. And then um the day we're talking about right now is Wednesday. This is March 4th and 5th. But right now the 4th is looking more significant. But um if they were to issue a slight risk, I would think they would issue it from where my cursor is. If you can see here, right above the W, and then all the way down to about here, and then they would kind of make a curve, and then like this, and then all the way back up. So I think that's kind of the area. I think they'll include Nashville. I think it'll include Birmingham, Alabama. Maybe it'll include Atlanta, Georgia. If it doesn't, I think it'll be kind of close, but yeah. And honestly, I think the main threats for this are probably going to be hail. Or the main threat is probably going to be hail, but there definitely is some high winds that are probably going to happen. And tornadoes are possible too. But like I said, this is still 7 days out, so obviously it's still pretty like it's still obviously like really how do I word this? It's still pretty like we still aren't like really confident on this because it's still 7 days out, like I said. So here let's read the SPC discussion here. So basically it says severe weather potential will be low to start the period with a northerly flow across the Gulf on D4 Saturday. On D5 Sunday, a compact mid-level low will translate east across the southwest, which will result in Lee cyclogenesis and the southern/central high plains. As surface high pressure across the Midwest translates east, favorable low-level trajectories and strengthening flow across the Gulf and southern plains will initiate significant moisture return across Texas. The initial mid-level flow will weaken as it moves across the plains and into the mid-Mississippi Valley on D6 Monday. However, Lee cyclogenesis will likely strengthen Monday afternoon as a larger scale trough approaches the southern plains. Shortwave ridging will likely keep the dry line capped on Monday with continued moistening beneath the capping inversion and low-level moisture infection continues. Okay, so now I know that may have been a little bit boring, but now we're going to read about day 7. So by 12Z Tuesday, moisture recovers across the western Gulf should be complete with 70 Fahrenheit dew points, so up to 70. I was tracking about like mid 60s, high 70s, high 60s, so that's about right. Forecast by both GFS and ECMWF, which is the global and the European model. Aloft, however, there's significant disagreement regarding the amplitude of the larger scale waves on Tuesday. The less amplified GFS seems to be the outlier, with a more amplified solution preferred by most other extended range guidance. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna try and see okay. Here. However, there's enough confidence in at least the mid-60s dew points well inland with an ejecting larger scale trough to introduce a broad 15% severe weather probabilities on D7 Tuesday from East Texas to the mid-Mississippi Valley region. So now we're going to read about day 8 because that is the one I probably am most curious about because I really want to know what is going to happen. So in addition, it is unclear whether full moisture recovery will occur across the eastern Gulf ahead of the cold frontal passage. This will have significant implications on the moisture quality ahead of the front on Wednesday, day 8, and thus the instability available. So now we're going to take a look at the GFS model. This is pivotal weather, so if you guys want to check this website out, here's your time. But we're going to go to hour 138 here. As you can see, this is the low pressure system. This is the system here. This is Tuesday. Oh my god, I literally cannot speak. Tuesday, March 4th here. As you can see here, this 1,000 millibar low pressure system just over Denver here. You can see here there are a little bit of rain showers across the southern United States. But as you can see here, this low pressure system kind of moves a little bit to the southeast here. But you can see here a few little rain showers and storms are firing up in northeastern Texas. But that is kind of expected to kind of move on. But on the backside here, that's when the storms are supposed to develop. So I believe this is late day Tuesday. And this is the low pressure system here. You can see it's over central Kansas, 997 millibars. This is hour 147, so this is very late in the day on Tuesday. You can see here, I mean, there are storms firing up, and this is when these storms, but this is when these storms are really going to start to get intense because they're going to take up all this CAPE and all this moisture, and they're going to intensify. So as you can see here, they're moving into the slight risk zone. I don't have the slight risk pulled up, but this is the slight risk zone. And you can see here, these storms are actually firing up pretty quickly here. If we look at 3 hours earlier, you can see here there really wasn't much. And then you can see here in 3 hours, I mean, this really gets pretty intense. So this is hour 150. This is 2 a.m. On Wednesday. This is 2 in the morning here. As you can see here, slow pressure system is around Kansas City, and sorry about that. But you can see here, these storms are they haven't really intensified much, but they have intensified a little bit. Now they've moved into almost all of Arkansas around Little Rock, and they're moving into Louisiana. So here, 3 hours later, this is about 5-6 a.m. You can see here these storms have kind of moved on a little bit into the eastern slight risk zone around Memphis, and then some rain showers are continuing south with an occasional supercell down in Texas. But this is where the storms, I would say, really get intense, but a little bit less less strong. So basically, what I mean is here, this is about I believe this is sorry, I'm so sorry. Wait, hold on. Just want to make sure something. Okay, so yeah, this is about 6 a.m. On Wednesday. You can see here these storms are pretty intense. They've made it a little past Memphis. They're getting into Nashville. Now, these storms are definitely gonna get a lot more widespread on Wednesday, and they'll get a lot more widespread, but I don't think they're going to be as strong as they are going to be Tuesday. We'll have to look because obviously we're still 7 to 8 days out, so we're really uncertain about this. But you can see here now these storms are making it to the Nashville region all the way down to about Jackson, Mississippi. Here you can see this low pressure system is directly over St. Louis. You can see here there is some decent snow on the backside here in southern Iowa, northwestern Missouri, and actually into Kansas City and a little bit of eastern Kansas. So now we're moving on to noon on Wednesday here. You can see the snow has kind of shrunken, but it's still actually pretty strong here. I don't think it's gonna be a huge snowstorm. I mean, I definitely think there will, like, you could get a couple inches of snow, but I don't think it's gonna be anything too severe. But you can see here, these storms have started to die out a little bit. They're still like going like decently strong, but they're starting to die out here. They're making it from northern Tennessee all the way down to like southern Mississippi, so they have started to die out a little bit. Now this is in the afternoon on Wednesday here. You can see here now these storms have become a lot less widespread. Now they're just in southeastern Mississippi, central Alabama, and northern Georgia, so not a huge storm. But they will go strong all the way through Wednesday night, I believe, and then towards like midnight-ish, I think they'll start to slow down and kind of die out here. And then by Thursday, I don't think they should be a huge threat. But I do think Thursday morning, sorry, my bad. I do think not in the near future, but potentially we could get a slight risk near the Philadelphia, Washington D.C. area, because you can see some storms actually do fire up here. You can see here, this is in the morning on Thursday of the 6th here. You can see there actually are some decent storms in the Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Dover area. And then once they get overseas, they just kind of, they kind of do get more intense, but they're overseas by this point. They're not really going to hurt anyone. This is by midday or around noon on Thursday. But the storm is supposed to bring a pretty wide area of cold air here, stretching down all the way to northern Alabama. You can see these blue lines here, these blue dotted lines. And then you can see the low pressure system just north of Saratoga, New York here. But there is a threat. Now this is still uncertain, so it's still pretty uncertain, so don't get your hopes up or don't get scared for this, but there may be a few storms in Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, that area, midday to afternoon on Thursday, and then it's gonna just move out over the sea. I think the New England and the Northeast could get some rain, but I don't think it's gonna be anything too severe. And then after this, I'm gonna go to the forecast loop, but after this, we really don't have, we really don't have much going on. Like, you can see the storm, that's the storm that we're tracking here. Then we really don't have a ton going on, but this is gonna set, this is gonna make the environment pretty good for a northeast snowstorm. I don't think it's gonna be like terrible, but I think you could probably get a couple inches of snow here. And then listen, I know this is the 8th, this is really far out, so don't get hyped out. This is 10 days out. This is 10, 11 to 12 days out. But you can see here there is a storm in the south here. I don't think this will be terrible, but I definitely think we could get some severe weather here on this. Not really much snow on the backside here, but this is bringing a lot of cold air down into the United States here. Now, obviously, this is still pretty uncertain, like I said, because because this is obviously, like, as you can see here, this is 13 days out, this is 2 weeks out, but when it does bring this cold air here, you can see the blue lines here, it's gonna make way for potentially a bunch of warmth on the west coast here. You can see here with this, oh my gosh, this is so weird. Okay, so you can see here, all this cold air here, you can see the blue dotted lines here, and then you can see the red dotted lines here. This represents warmth. The blue represents cold. The red represents warm there. Okay, and then you can see here maybe a small storm hitting California or two, and then just the occasional rain in the northwest, I would say. That's pretty much it for that. Now, obviously, I'm not even really going to pay attention to this for a while because this is literally over 2 weeks out. Maybe a little bit of snow in the northwest. You never know. But that is over 2 weeks out. I'm really not going to focus on that until it's about like 10 days out. But here I am going to take a look at the snowfall from these storms, because these could actually produce a little bit of snow. Here you can see March 4th. Here you can see this storm is actually probably going to dump a couple inches. Here I'm going to change my region, north central US here. You can see, I mean, actually some of these places, there might be occasional spots of 3 to 8 inches of snow, especially like a little bit north of Davenport, Iowa, and in Madison, Wisconsin, or south of Madison, Wisconsin. If I had my Epic pen, I would probably be able to tell you where this was a lot better, but I can't work it, so I will figure that out. Let's here. 24-hour snowfall, okay? So just to give you an idea of the snowfall here, maximum 24-hour snowfall is like up to 8 inches. But also, I don't know why I didn't realize this, but this is from the same storm. Dude, what am I doing? I keep clicking on the precipitation instead of snow, but I know snow is precipitation, but like, it's the same thing. Never mind, forget that happened. But anyways, central Michigan, here you can see maybe like anywhere from an inch to maybe 6-ish inches. I mean, if you're in central to north Michigan, I would say you're probably going to get a lot more snow than southern Michigan, because you can see here, there might not even be any snow in Michigan in some parts. But yeah, this is what the storm looks like here. You can see the snow on the backside, and then it's pretty much. Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys the dew points. Yes. See, 4 a.m. March 4th here. You can see the time right here. But anyways, so this is the dew points here. You can see they're getting up to about 70, like SPC said. You can see 68, low 60s, mid 60s, high 60s, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that looks pretty decent. But yeah. Hold on. So I'm gonna pull up one more thing here. Okay, surface-based CAPE. So basically, this is oh my gosh, convective potential energy. I don't know why I literally can't say that with my stuffed up nose, but you can see this is for Tuesday, March 4th here. You can see this is in the morning. This is not. Oh my God, my dog can't shut up. But you can see here about 1,500 joules per kilogram. Here you can see it's starting to get a little more. It's starting to get a little higher, 2,000. And when we see a big burst of CAPE here, you can see 2,500, which obviously it isn't a ton, but it is definitely. What I mean by winter storm is a severe weather, like a storm that is going to bring severe weather in the winter. That's what I mean. I don't mean like a winter storm, like as in like a huge snowstorm. There's not a huge snowstorm coming to Oklahoma and Texas on March 4th, obviously, but you can see the CAPE here. It's actually pretty high, like I said, for a severe weather, potential severe weather outbreak, or a potential storm in February, or sorry, early March. So it's pretty here, hold on. Okay, so we're gonna look at the dew points here, like I said. I know I already showed you the dew points, but now I have like this little cursor thing that actually shows the dew points where I am. So you can see down here a little pocket of 70 near Houston, but the main area where the storms are gonna fire up, high 60s, very close to 70 here. I literally can't speak. But about 60 degrees in dew points all the way up until like southwestern Missouri here. And then central Arkansas about 60. This is when the storms are really going to start up, and this is when the most favorable environment is. So that's why I'm showing you this now. Um, but as the storm progresses, you can see the dew points will actually lower a little bit, but not a ton. They might lower a little bit and then get higher a little bit. As you can see here, the dew points have lowered a little bit. Now they're in the mid 60s, maybe even in the low 60s. Now they've started to also like lower a little bit. Yeah, and you can see the storm's kind of dying out. Like I said, it would be about dying out at this point. It wouldn't really be too bad. Like very low 60s, high 50s. Not a whole lot to worry about when the probably like on the morning of Thursday, like way late in the night on Thursday or on the Wednesday. So yeah. One more thing I gotta talk about. So the heat. So this is today's maximum temperatures. No, wait, wait. Okay, so this is a maximum temp. I apologize for my cold, but this is a maximum temperatures for everybody in the next 24 hours here. You can see the West Coast up to 70, high 50s. Like this is spring type weather. I mean, this is pretty warm here. I mean, you can see little pocket of Montana getting 60 to 70. Like this is pretty crazy. Like much of the central US is in the 60s and mid 60s. And this is very above average, especially for like North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska. Then day 2, maximum temperatures is going to keep cooling down a little bit, but in the central US, still pretty warm. On the West Coast, it actually warms up a little bit more. Stays the same on day 3. It does cool down more in North Dakota and most of South Dakota and like Iowa, and because there's a little bit of a cold air blast, and it does cool down a little bit on the West Coast here. But as you can see here, it doesn't stop there. It warms up again on day 4 as this cold air starts to move its way out. And on the West Coast, though, it does get cooler, and I'm going to tell you why here. And you guys may already know this, but like I said, there's a storm, and I know I already literally said that like 10 times, but there is a storm coming in. This is the storm that we've been talking about on, that's gonna hit the southern U.S. on Tuesday and Wednesday here. So day 5 here, it's gonna start to warm up a little bit on day 6, but it's getting a little bit colder on day 5 because of this storm on the West Coast here. But in the central U.S., it is starting to warm up once again here. Now let's look at day 6. Now the storm has moved around around Denver, and it is starting to warm up again in the southern U.S. But it is actually getting pretty cold now in Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Not much warm air really anymore. Maybe a little bit in southeastern South Dakota, but that's pretty much it. It's going to start warming up again a little bit on the West Coast, but oops, I accidentally clicked the minimum temperatures, but as you can see, day 7, it does start to warm up a little bit more, but North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, Montana, those states that were once warm, you're getting back down to freezing again, especially in North Dakota and Minnesota. You're getting back down to cold weather again. But it is obviously warm in the southern U.S. like it has been. High 50s, in the 60s, 70s, maybe even in the 80s. Southern Texas and uh, southern Florida. On the West Coast, I think I already mentioned this, but it did warm up a little bit, but and still a little bit above average, but not too warm. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this stream. Sorry about my stuffy nose. I will fix my magic pen thing. Um this is where my magic pen is, but it's actually not showing up, so I will figure that out. And I hope you enjoyed this stream. Thank you for the support lately, and I'll see you all in my next video.